that was a busy morning. I don't know why I didn't realize it was going to be that busy today. I woke up, took my time getting over to the barn, and I knew that Amy had left early today. I just disconnected, right? Amy left early today. Everybody was at the barn early. I got there. There was only a few horses left to jog. It was 9:30 in the morning. By 9:30 in the morning, we're all gone. I jogged 2 horses. I went with Absolute Euphoria. Jogged good. And I jogged Kemp in his warm-up. Now, obviously, the qualifiers were fantastic today. Now, I will preface this video with, a little disclaimer. As James put it, the track was electric this morning. Very, very, very fast track today in Campbellville, Ontario. Just the way the track was, sometimes you'll get the Mohawk and they're all just flying. You'll see this at every racetrack. You'll just be watching the races saying, well, why is everybody going so fast tonight? It happens all the time, and today was one of those days. As I said, as James put it, the track was electric. So I got there for the first qualifier. I knew I had to go with Kemp in the 4th. So I got there for the first. I watched Mario go out the door. I'm like, oh, other horses are qualifying today. So I watched More Than You Know. He looked very good. 56-1, 27-2 or 3 or something on the end of it. But looked very, very good. Now, we won't race him right back in 7 days. It'll be 10 days before World for 2. We'll talk about him in a minute. More Than You Know, those horses are in to go again. So More Than You Know's qualifier was very, very good. Then we went with World for 2. He said he was pretty aggressive halfway around the last turn, so he moved him, put him in gear. A mile and 53 and 4, a big mile for World for 2. Another horse, 10 days. He'll come back, train him up a little tight, 4 days out, and then race him. A good qualifier for him, though, and I'm sure he'll race good from here on in. And, I know that there's been a lot of people very patiently waiting for World for 2, and I hope you understand why now. We have high expectations. I can't control what World for 2 will be like. Mario, no one, just the horse can. All we can do is do it right. And then what he becomes when he gets to the races will be up to him. But obviously, it goes without saying, pretty impressive qualifier from World for 2 today. So Mario obviously was walking on cloud 9s. He should have been. The horses were great. Him and Emily have been doing a great job with them. And then James and I come on the track with White Tiger and Unbeatable Kemp. I wanted to see how Kemp is. Kemp had that line in his knee, and just the way that it settled in, they think it'd been there for a long time, and it wasn't going anywhere. So it was just one of those things you had to manage. It would dissipate, and if it got aggravated, you might see it rear its ugly head again. But for now, he was good. Trained the other day in 2-2. Dominic said he was good, and he was very good today. I didn't really want to take a run at Tiger. I just kind of bumper rode him the whole way down the lane and moved him over, and he took off right at the wire. So obviously he's in good shape. Over on the left shaft a bit, nothing new. I didn't see anything new from Unbeatable Kemp. Just want to go over to our spots. We'll probably put some iodine in his stifles. They were shaking a bit from I think a little less groundwork and then a quick mile today. His lower hocks have always bothered him a little bit. We'll just have Dr. Bosenjack go over her. Dominic's away today, so I called him, talked to him. But the horses, I thought they were great. Tiger was very good, strong again. Just kind of a walk in the park, but a good feel from Tiger. James said he was hot going into the turn, and he just kind of seesawed him a little bit, and he dropped a bit and come back to him. And both those horses were very strong. So 3 wins in a second. I wish it was race night, but a great qualifying session from those 4 horses. But we were not done there. In fact, the highlight of the day for me, a horse that we were all on pins and needles about, was JK Victory, and I was going with him today. I talked to James the other day, and I got a feeling that horse put some steps in the other day. Maybe put a little streak of fear into James. But again, his hobbles were a little bit long. We didn't have a head pull on him. We had him hung up like he was at the Meadowlands. And then Harry was onto it too, and I said I was happy. We got there today, and he said, "You're going to go with that horse?" I said, "Yeah, I'll go with him this morning." He said, "Listen, I'd like to put a Murphy Blind, a roller burr, and a bit burr on the left him. He's running in, he's touching that inside knee. I don't really care what he did at the Meadowlands. He's not going to do it here." And I said, "I don't think I could agree with you anymore." 100%. I agree 100%. So We put the head pull Murphy blind on him. You know, the two issues that we found, really three issues with JK Victory were right front ankle bothered him, right hind ankle bothered him. So as you can imagine, as you got to the turn with this horse, and he was trying to figure out how to protect those two spots a little bit, this again is racehorse stuff. This isn't new. If you go back and watch his videos from last year, and I talked to Ron about it, Ron Burke about it, and he said, yeah, they bothered him, but you know, they were very manageable. And I think he was onto something. All we did was shockwave those two spots Wednesday, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. We went ahead and put the flip-flops on him up front. And, you know, I went out of there with him. Jonathan Drury went out of there with one of Carmen's horses, and I sat in the two-hole. Now, I will tell you this. Jonathan turned around at the quarter pole and said, he's making a little noise, your horse. Right? And I didn't really have a big hold of him. So a little concerning, but nothing that we can't manage. We got into the last turn now. I knew we were at the half in 58. So not going to get a real true reading on how he is. This is a 150 pacer that was at a gear in his mile. How can we get a real good look at him? We started to speed up getting into the last turn, and we got to the point of the turn where he would struggle the most. I moved him over and I let him march. And he never put a step in. Now, a little bumpy. It shouldn't say that, but from what I saw from a distance, you guys saw it on race night, his first start. He did look bumpy. You know, and I saw the same thing schooling last week. At a gear, you could see him get in and touch his knee, but he wasn't doing that today. I let him rock coming out of the turn, coming midway around. Where he would have the most trouble in that turn, that is where I asked him to accelerate. And that's exactly what he did. Bounced out of the two-hole, roared past the one that was cutting the mile, took off, come 26 and a piece on the end of it, a mile and 54 and 2. He was very good. Very, very good. Now, the noise stuff. We are going to have to address that. We'll have the vet scope him today. If that's a matter of, okay, changing the angle of his head, so putting maybe a different bit in his mouth, maybe putting a choke plate on him and tying his tongue. I like tying it in two places, and somebody asked me what I meant the other day by that. So for those of you that are horse people, you'll tie the horse's tongue in their mouth. But it can still move around quite a bit, right? And what happens is they'll get their tongue towards the back of their mouth, they'll crank their head, and they'll shut their air off a little bit. You'll hear them make noise. So what I like to do is tie them towards the back a little bit, and then tie them again. Tie the tongue again near the front, just so it can't move around so much. Some people tie it out a little bit. All that stuff works. For each horse is different. But for JK Victory, I didn't have a big hold of him, and I didn't hear him make a noise, and I didn't feel him roaring in the lines. So I think it's somewhere up near the top. Maybe he did flip his palate a little bit. Maybe he did because he was stressed out himself about training today. Maybe he has an ulcer on his palate. Maybe it's something he needed to have that palate trimmed up. I don't know. We can get to the bottom of that pretty easy. Of all the issues he had, of all the issues we were worried about, I'm still not really worried about the throat thing. It will be diagnosed today, and it will be treated either with injecting it or if we have to and we have to trim it up a little bit, then we will. But I mean, sure, we bought this horse for the here and now, but we have him here and now. We have him right now, and we have to make sure that he is at his very best. I am very happy with what I saw this morning with JK Victory. I do want to have, and Harry's going to have the vet scope. Everybody that qualified schooled today will be scoped to make sure there's no blood, to make sure that everything's operating properly. So we'll get a good read of what's going on with JK Victory, but very happy mechanically with him today. Now, we had two other horses school, Horn Player. No hobbles on. Halfway down the backstretch, she's on the left line. He's just got a little pole on the outside of her. I haven't gone with her in a while. She needs a bit burn or a bigger pole on the outside. She just got on the line as I went to shake her off, and she rolled off stride. Come right back trotting. 1 mile and 2-1, come 29 on the end of it. Now, I'd like to see this filly trotting 55, 56 this year, so I want to see a lot more from her, and it's going to have to be hard work, right? She's going to have to put some hard work in. Dominic is very gentle on the horses, and as I said to him, that's not how you're going to win stake races. So it is how you're going to get them to the races, though. So from here on in, just need to change your equipment a little bit, maybe have the vet look at her in a week or so, but she'll go to qualify next week. We'll qualify her in 59 or 2 minutes, I think. Won't be a problem, but she's going to need that roller burr and bit burr on the outside. What she becomes after that will be up to her. She's that big, elongated filly. So I am going to be watching next week. I might just go with her next week. Maybe I will. But I was happy with her. 2-1 last quarter and 29, 28 apiece. Thought she passed two horses down the lane. Thought she did her work well. And then we went to a horse that I think quietly a lot of people are waiting to see, Gandalf the Black. James said he was on the left line, a little rolly down the lane. He doesn't need the stuff on the inside. We went through this last year with this guy, but you have to understand. I, too, have to understand. This is not the 2-year-old Gandalf. This is a new horse. He's bigger, he's taller, he's wider. So we're going to take the Murphy blind off and just qualify him with the head pole on the inside. He looked good. 56 last quarter and 26 in a piece. James said he is loaded with pace, but running out a little bit, not in it all in the turns, but running out a little bit. Now, I'm more apt to say put a line pole on the outside with this horse, but maybe we'll just take the Murphy blind off and see if he's okay like that. And that was today's session. We had 7 horses, looked very good, all 7 of them. The 4 qualifiers were their lines were sensational, but take that with a grain of salt. The track was awesome today. And the 3 schoolers were very good. Gandalf's ready to rock. JK Victory ready to go. Just have to check that. Just want to check that pallet and see what that noise was coming from. And then Horn Player again. I'd like to see a mile 59 or 2 minutes out of her next week. So very happy with the qualifiers and the schoolers today. You couldn't do much better than we did. Hopefully we can translate that into racing. Into racing for the season. But you know, as I said yesterday in a very long opening video, 34. That's how many we have within a month of the races. Some of them imminent, like the schoolers and the qualifiers today. Some of them a couple of weeks away, but 34 horses on their way to the track right now at thestable.ca. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. We have Locatelli racing tonight. Good luck to everybody in the Locatelli group. He's our lone starter today. Tomorrow we are going to train. I tried to get Curtis to drone, and he has a meeting at Mohawk Tuesday. So what might happen is we are planning on videoing Wednesday at Northfield Park. We are planning on doing that. Now, Thursday, I have to race Dustin Hanover at the Meadows, but if he's not in early, I may have to list a driver. I have to come back here Thursday. Friday, I'm going to be in Michigan. I'm speaking at an agricultural event at Michigan State University, just talking about horse racing and fractional ownership. Friday and Saturday, if you guys are in Michigan or around the area and want to come out, drop me a line. I think we're going to be posting an update this week on it anyway, so you'll have an idea of where it is, when it is. So that means I won't be here for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I won't be in Ohio to train Saturday, and I won't be in Ontario to train on Friday. But we could theoretically drone on Thursday. The weather looks good. If I came home from Northfield Park late at night on Wednesday, I could be here to drone on Thursday, but I would miss Dustin Hanover. So I just have to juggle my Thursday. I have to figure out what Thursday will bring for me. Worst case, and it's not worst case. The options are simple. I drive Dustin, and everybody else drones here on Thursday. No big deal. Or we train tomorrow, and they drone on Friday or Saturday. Probably leaning towards that a little bit. And then I'll be in Ohio Wednesday morning to train all the babies, and we will video from Ohio. So a little update there. Update on the qualifiers, schoolers, and what's going on with droning and videoing. Most definitely going to video from Northfield Park on Wednesday. As far as the drone, can't be tomorrow. I wanted it to be, but it can't be tomorrow. We'll see if the weather looks good and if Curtis can do it Friday or Saturday. Maybe James and everybody else will have to be in charge of that. So with that, I'm going to let you go. As I said, have a great day. I hope you had a great weekend, and I hope we all have a fantastic week. Take care.